What is up, guys? It is Coasters and Things here today, and in this review, I will be talking about Hades 360 at Mount Olympus Water Theme Park in the Wisconsin Dells. Now, before I start this review, I just want to state that the footage you are seeing in this review is not my footage. It belongs to other users who will be credited in the description below. I was not able to get any footage of this coaster, sadly, but it's alright. This is a Gravity Group wooden coaster, and this was actually the first ever Gravity Group when it opened in 2005, so this paved the way for rides like Voyage. I rode this coaster twice, and I was only able to ride it 2 times because this coaster is so incredibly rough. It gave me a massive headache after only my second ride. I seriously feel that this is the roughest wooden coaster I've ever ridden, and I've ridden over 35 different Woodies as of now. But that being said, I'm going to try not to take the roughness into account when talking about this coaster. Now let's get into it, because I have a lot to talk about with this coaster. So when you walk up into the station for Hades 360, you step into your Timberliner train. This coaster does only run one train, by the way. All of the Woodies at Mount Olympus only run one train, actually. Timberliner trains are always very comfortable, and this one is no exception. It used to run a PTC train, actually, before the inversion was added in. Now, I mentioned the roughness being a problem earlier. That was one of 2 problems I encountered with this coaster. Here comes the second problem. The ride ops will not send the train out until every single seat is filled, period. Here I was, a single rider in the back row, and they would not send out the train just because the seat next to me was the only empty seat on the whole train. As a result, we sat in our seats in the station for almost 20 minutes waiting for someone to give up riding with someone else. Eventually someone gave in, but that was so incredibly annoying. Now, I have heard some stories of Hades rolling back at certain points. However, I find it very hard to believe that it would roll back with just one empty seat. I was not a fan at all of this policy. Now, moving past that, when you finally dispatch from the station, you drop down and through a turn to the right, then a very small double down, turn back to the right, and finally to the left, which leads up to the lift hill. This lift hill is 136 feet tall. When you finally reach the top, you're like, holy crap, here comes the drop into the tunnel. You then drop down 140 feet into the tunnel under the parking lot. And guys, this tunnel is insane. It's the longest underground tunnel on a roller coaster in the world. It's pitch black darkness in there. You're flying 60 miles an hour through pitch blackness, and then you hit a 90-degree banked turn to the left. You are now seeing a POV with the lights on, so you can see it. I had known about the banked turn prior, however, I kind of forgot about it going in, and it really shocked me. This whole tunnel in general shocked me at how intense it was. Like, forget Voyage's tunnels, this tunnel is far more intense than Voyage's tunnels. I could not tell if I was graying out on it or not. You then come out of the tunnel and through the ride's signature element, the corkscrew. This ride originally opened without the corkscrew, and it was just called Hades. Then, in 2013, the corkscrew was added in. And this corkscrew and banked turn are the smoothest parts of the ride. This ride, as I mentioned previously, is definitely not smooth. You then go back down through the tunnel the other way, and all the time through the tunnel both ways, I was bumping into the person beside me because I had my hands in the air. You then come out and go up into an airtime hill. You do lose a little bit of speed on this hill, but it actually helps to take a quick breather because this ride is just so aggressive. You then come down and regain all that speed again and hit a banked turn to the right. You feel a lot of laterals on this turn, by the way. You then go over 2 small airtime hills and hit one last banked turn to the left. You then finally hit the brakes. When I rode this back row, when we got to the brakes, I put my head down on the seat in front of me because I was physically beat from this ride. This ride is an absolute powerhouse. It is so incredibly intense. So many laterals. It says on a sign outside the entrance that Hades runs very aggressive, and they're not lying at all when they say that. I would not be surprised if people have blacked out on this thing before. Not much airtime, but it doesn't matter because this ride is just pure intensity on a wooden coaster. Part of that has to do with the fact that this coaster desperately needs a retrack. It was unbearably rough. Cyclops and Zeus had just gotten retracked and were both running way better, way smoother. If Mount Olympus can retrack Hades like they did with their other woodies, it would be more enjoyable in my opinion. For Hades 360's overall score, it will receive an 8.5 out of 10. I feel that is slightly generous on my part because I was tempted to take off 2 points, but I gave it half a point back because this ride is just so intense. I took off 1.5 points for the roughness being unbearable, and also the stupid policy about having every single seat filled. If you're going to ride this coaster for the first time, ride it towards the front, and you'll hopefully get a good experience out of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and this is Coasters and Things signing out.